Hello and welcome to the Planetary Pulse. This is your week ahead astrology forecast for your sacred business for the week of February 3rd through February 9th. So we are starting today with a quite a bit going on. A lot is going on earlier in the week and then picks up again at the end of the week. So we have just come out of a Venus Neptune conjunction yesterday, and immediately today move into a Venus North Node conjunction. So this energy is really dreamy. And when it comes to your relationships, there may be some boundary blurring, um, as well as just a lot of potential for creative flow. And so what is this good for in your business? What's possible here? Um, Again, that creative flow is so potent right now with Venus being, in her sign of exaltation in Pisces. There's a lot of potential for connecting to spirit and bringing some spiritual guidance into your business. If this is something that you are practiced in, it can be a really supportive um, way to feel like you're not doing this alone. So of course, we want to, be in relationship with other humans, get support through community and through coaches and mentors. And we can also expand that out to spiritual guidance and ask your spiritual guides to help you in your business. Because if you're here, you're creating a sacred business and your spiritual guides want to support you in that. So Venus is about relationships here in the sign of Pisces with the Neptune influence and the North Node really expanding this energy. It's a really powerful time to ask your spiritual guides to support you. And to let your creativity flow, really tap into your imagination, maybe you're working on a new offer or a new marketing message, and really letting yourself let go of attachment to what this, what this might what might come of it, and instead really just surrender to the process and see what comes up for you. This Venus and Neptune energy, Neptune can sometimes drain our energy. And so it's also important to give yourself some time to rest and recharge. And I think a lot of inspiration might come to you in your dreams right now. So maybe taking a long nap this afternoon could actually be really supportive in receiving some of that guidance. And our next aspect that is also really supportive for folks who are creating their businesses is Mercury in Aquarius is trining Jupiter in Gemini. So Mercury is hosting Jupiter in Gemini. So there's this Mercury's really supporting Jupiter's work there. And these are both air signs, and it really has to do with our social networks. And I think it's something you can play with today, February 3rd, is really tapping into your visionary ideas and sharing that within your social networks and reaching out and starting conversations. You might even gather some of your peers and have a virtual brainstorming session. So a lot is available here for communication, opening up new opportunities. All right, and so we continue to have a very active day tomorrow on February 4th. So Venus moves out of this dreamy space of Pisces and into fiery Aries. So there's a real vibe shift in your relationships. And something I forgot to mention about today's transits with Venus. Venus is preparing to have her retrograde period on March 2nd through April 13th. So whatever is happening today, take note because Venus is going to be coming back and hitting these aspects again. Uh, and so whatever happens today is part of this three-part story. So notice what comes up in your relationships, whether that's to your spiritual guides or your clients or your colleagues or your audience, because that theme may come up again. Some of the ideas that you are planting now, this inspiration is going to be reworked and revisioned during the retrograde and then really come into manifestation when Venus turns direct again in April. So, bringing us back to February 4th, Venus going into Aries, it's that vibe shift from this really open, compassionate energy to really tapping into what stirs up your fire. What do you feel passionate about? And it's really offering us an opportunity to lead in the energy of the divine feminine. So, really finding the strength of that feminine part of you and leading with that. So, this might be about really taking some bold steps in your relationships in the way that you are, reaching out to potential clients. This can be a time where you really, uh, you know, take a risk and allow that to build your confidence. Because sometimes when we can spend a lot of time feeling afraid of what might happen if I do this. And then when we actually take that step, we realize that it wasn't so bad. And then you're able to come and take the next bigger step. And so, this is with Venus there, we want to balance this assertiveness, this confidence with also, considering how this is going to impact your relationships. So there is a bit of a balancing act there. So this brings me into my next aspect happening on February 4th. Mars will square Chiron. And Mars is also in its retrograde phase right now. So again, whatever is happening right now in this storyline with Mars is going to come back again once more, once Mars turns direct. So Mars square Chiron, which is the wounded healer. This can activate your own healing journey. And this is a day where, both with Venus just jumping into Aries and this Mars square Chiron, you really want to give yourself some spaciousness to respond rather than react. And find ways to express any hurt or anger that might be stirred up right now. Find ways to express that will allow for some catharsis and transformation, being cautious not to harm others in the process. So, giving yourself some space and grace to explore any big feelings that are coming up now, because there is a tendency towards impulsiveness and reactivity. Okay, and then we also on February 4th, I told you a lot's happening right at the beginning of the week. Jupiter is going to be turning direct. And so Jupiter turned retrograde back in September. Jupiter had first entered the sign of Gemini in June of last year. And so, this period between September and now, whatever it was that you started expanding and growing back in June of 2024, may have reached some obstacles or some blocks or just kind of became a bit more stagnant September through now. But now that Jupiter is turning direct, then the doors are opening once again to Jupiter's story in Gemini. And You may find that you're feeling more expansive and finding more opportunities, especially in the realms of learning, of socializing, marketing and sales. This is all the energy of Gemini, and Jupiter's there to open doors for you. So now it's turning direct. Those doors are opening up once again, where Jupiter will continue through until early June. All right. And then on February 5th, we have our first quarter moon in Taurus. And so I invite you to look back to your new moon intentions that you set last week, because the first quarter moon is a time where you may reach your first roadblock, or find that you are feeling the need to make a pivot. You get your first obstacle where you kind of question the intentions you set. And so when we tune into this with conscious awareness, this can actually be an opportunity for us to do some creative problem solving, to again make that pivot with intention. So we're not totally just giving up um, on our new moon intentions, but rather we're allowing whatever conflict or challenge is coming up to actually um, strengthen our resolve and open up a new way of looking at how we're going to grow these new moon intentions. And of course, we're in the sign of Taurus. The moon is in Taurus. And so it is a great day to really check in with your body about how you're feeling about those new moon intentions, to take a little extra time to nurture yourself on a physical level, especially because, Uranus is in Taurus as well and has recently turned direct. So this can cause, both some innovative ways of looking at whatever conflict you're running into or challenge, but it can also spark some anxiety and just kind of like some buzzy energy. So, grounding, getting your feet in the earth, that can be, or hugging a tree. Those are all really great ways to ground so you can feel like you have the resilience to move through whatever challenge you're facing. Um, okay, so then finally, we things are kind of quiet, and then on February 9th, we have a couple more um, transits to look at. So, Sunday, February 9th, there is going to be a Mercury cazimi at 20 degrees of Aquarius. And the cazimi is when Mercury enters the heart of the sun symbolically, and so that is infused with vitality and wisdom. So, this is a really powerful day to receive insight and greater wisdom. So, keep your journal handy. You might be struck with something that uh, gives you a quantum leap in your business. Um, and we'll get into this next week, but the next day, Mercury will also be squaring Uranus, which also has the potential to really help us think outside of the box, get flashes of insight. So you're going to want your journal handy Sunday through early next week as well. And then the last transit I'll guide you to take note of, because this can be really supportive, is Mars will trine Saturn. And so Mars and Saturn in a trine aspect is really supportive to both have energy and structure. And to, take action on long-term goals. So it's a really great day for really getting some things done. If you have a long to-do list, then you might have the energy as well as kind of that discipline and commitment to just knock it out. And remember, just make sure that you're keeping your journal handy, because you might get into a flow and then pop, your next brilliant idea comes right through. All right, well, that's what I have for you this week. Join me again next week. You can join the Facebook group where you can get that personal invite to these to join here live. And you can also watch the replay on the YouTube channel. So take good care, and we'll see you on the next one.